We go into the next question, question number 3. 2 states have passed laws allowing for the recreational use of marijuana, despite federal law which still makes it illegal. Should marijuana be legal, and why or why not? And we start with Mr. Peñalosa.
Thank you very much for that question. That's a very difficult question to answer. Most people want a yes or no answer, and I believe...
Just for a second. I'm having a little trouble hearing you with your mic. I think it kind of fell down there. No.
Well, just clip it right there.
There we go. Thank you.
Can I start again, please?
Hey, there we go.
All right,
Now
there we
we
go.
can hear you.
Thank you very much. With regard to marijuana, most people would like to hear a yes or a no answer on that. It's a very difficult question. So what I believe right now is that we have 2 states that are in this particular program. And I think over time we're going to see the net result of that. And then we can take that step. For the state of Arizona, it's going to have to be the legislature making that particular decision, or it's going to have to go to a referendum or vote before the state. The state has approved medical marijuana, and that is something very good. But if we go to recreational, that's a different particular issue. But on top of that, we have to be realistic. At the federal level, the problem is this. Federal criminal code penalizes possession of marijuana. So it has to start at the federal level. And to convince the folks in the Congress to get that done is going to be something a lot greater than what we face here today with immigration reform, which is the #1 issue in this district. So we also must take into consideration what's going to happen at the border. We have the flow of drugs coming in from Mexico to the United States. And those drugs are manufactured, they're not manufactured, they're synthetically made. And what they're doing is they're causing a lot of damage to our community. I see that every day in the courts. And I see what happens next. People go to other types of drugs. So before you make that determination, we need to educate ourselves. You need to spend a day in the Superior Court and see all the harm that is occurring to people with that. And we also need to have a discussion about this. And let's see what Colorado comes up with. Let's see how that program fits into our state. And then we have to see what the next administration is going to do. So I'm open for that dialogue, and let the people discuss it, and let's vote on the particular issue.
Yes. I know that Arizona has medical marijuana, and we're trying to extend it to veterans to treat the disorders that they've come home with from their service in Iraq, Afghanistan, and even some of the stress that they've been under. I totally support that. We have a big experiment going on in the United States, in Colorado, and we have seen many, many things come out of that. We have seen the quantity, sometimes just the strength of the marijuana being used there, not being regulated. We have seen people who are getting into situations they cannot handle because it's not regulated the way it should. I firmly believe we should watch this experiment, we should learn from it, and even the very progressive governor of California, Jerry Brown, has said, let's all learn from Colorado and then make our decision. I firmly believe that is what we should do for recreational use. I know people argue it'll bring taxes, it'll bring money, but we cannot put people in harm's way. And in Colorado, let's let them experiment, let's let everything come out, and let's see what works best, or if it works at all, and then make our decision.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We have a de facto legalization of marijuana already. With our dispensaries going up, soon it'll be about 125 dispensaries across Arizona. And if you live 25 miles away from a dispensary, a dispensary, you can grow your own. So we already have de facto legalization of marijuana. Let me give you another example of why we have de facto legalization of marijuana. To be able to qualify for medical marijuana, you do not need a prescription. You only need a recommendation. I don't know if you've seen some ads in the paper of folks advertising the fact that they'll give you these recommendations. So it's not even a prescription. So when you look at California, for example, you will see that the majority of people that are on the medical marijuana program, the majority are from ages 18 to 29. So we already have a de facto legalization, but I'm saying just legalize it. Thank you.
Mr. Gaglione?
Thank you. Yes, I am for the regulation and legalization of marijuana. Colorado, we see what's going on there, but I think it's Arizona has taken the lead on a lot of other things. This is one of these issues where we know we should take the lead on. There are a lot of young men and young women, mostly of color and poor, that consistently will be caught up into this drug war in a drug system, where we find that they're being incarcerated and basically their future is being taken away. And what really the difference between you being charged with a drug law and not being charged with a drug law is how good your lawyer is. And we, especially in our community, in our congressional district, need to recognize that a lot of young men, young women, young families are being destroyed because of misapplied law. I think we can do this. I think we could do it in a regulated manner that will ensure both security, that will reduce the black market, and at the same time will also stop making men and women criminals for possession.
Jared Moffett.
I support the legalization, regulation, and taxation of marijuana for recreational use. Look, the truth is, all of us here today know somebody probably that uses recreational marijuana. If we look at the impact that it's having on our local economy, you need look no further than the city of Glendale, which is only behind Detroit in terms of its proximity to insolvency. One of the greatest small businesses that is generating tax revenue for the city is its marijuana dispensary. Now, career politicians and lawyers by trade are not going to want to legalize marijuana, and I'll tell you why. If you legalize it, you pull all of our young people out of the prison industrial complex. No longer in the superior court and in federal court will young African American and Latino folks that are caught up because they're in possession of marijuana be in that system and need to rely on, one, attorneys for their criminal defense, or two, career politicians that receive campaign contributions from the private prisons that they're sent to after they're convicted. So if we want to take the teeth out of the prison industrial complex, undermine the infrastructure of the underground drug trade, get serious about the war on drugs, and stop a terrible part of our foreign policy, which is destabilizing Central American countries, we will take the sting out of the drug trade and legalize marijuana so that we can regulate it, tax it, and use that money to improve our schools and our communities.